You're listening to Extinction Radio FM. Listen to the podcast at extinctionradio.com.
I just talked a little bit on Facebook, and I'll say a little bit more now about how it's very difficult to hold sorrow alongside joy.
Right.
And that, it's very easy to get into survivor guilt and to think, well, I shouldn't be happy about this situation over here because these people over here are still suffering. And the truth is that both are true. That the joy is true and the sorrow is true. And it takes a great deal of strength to hold both of those in the same body and not be pulled to one or the other. And that reminded me of what I have written in previous times about elderhood. And I want to hasten to add that elderhood isn't particularly about age. I'm speaking about an archetype. And we find that archetype in indigenous cultures. We find it, in our culture too, but not as much, not as clearly as we find it in indigenous cultures. And in these traditional cultures, the elder is a person who has grown in wisdom. And they're not necessarily in their 70s or 80s and 90s. They could be in their 40s or 50s. They could even be younger than that. But they are a person who has distilled wisdom from their life experiences. And in my book, Navigating the Coming Chaos, I'll just read one paragraph in there about elderhood. I've got a whole section on it, but let me just read one paragraph. An elder is an archetype as well as a literal person. Even if the role no longer exists, the archetype endures and emerges in some form in all societies. The role of a 21st century elder in a non-tribal society is different in terms of the literal functioning, but similar in terms of what the elder is asked to hold for the community. The culture of industrial civilization is delusional and unwilling, or in some cases incapable, of seeing what is so. The elder must be willing to see no matter what, and she must act accordingly. At the same time, the modern elder must be discerning about when to speak about the demise of civilization and how. Unlike the tribal elder, he will not be respected or acknowledged as a caring steward of the community and is likely to be tolerated at best or held in contempt at worst. Occasionally, those who resonate with elder consciousness are in the process of becoming elders themselves and will honor the elder's work and offer their support. So I just want to emphasize that people who are waking up to collapse and near-term extinction, as we develop ourselves emotionally and spiritually, and only as we do that, we become elders. So we are able to impart some wisdom to other people who are maybe struggling. And we also learn maybe when not to speak, as well as when to speak about the realities in the world. And one of the great characteristics of the elder is being able to hold these opposites. Being able to sit solid with our feet on the ground and say, yes, I can celebrate this joyful occasion, and at the same time there is this suffering going on, and both are true. And so the wisdom that we gain as we develop ourselves emotionally and spiritually allows us to do that. And of course, my work is about helping myself and other people develop emotionally and spiritually.
I'm now accepting